What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today's video, it's going to be a 100,000 mile review with my Camaro SS. I bought the car with 54,000 miles, so not all 100,000 miles have been put on the car by me, but this has been my experience with the car so far. Back in August of 2021, I was driving around just listening to music, and I happened to drive by this dealership that had a red, I think it was like a 2010 Camaro outside, and I decided to stop and check it out. Walked around it, took a video, I'll pop it up. But after seeing it, I knew that I just had to get one. So I went home, pretty much deep dived into learn as much as possible about all 5th gen Camaros, every option that was possible, anything. And I also had a coworker at the time that had a 2012 1SS. And I asked him if he would recommend getting the car, and he actually recommended a 2013 year. Then after months of research, I ended up picking up this 2013 black Camaro SS 2SS, as you can tell from the leather seats, with the RS appearance package, and pretty much every option that was available in 2013. It came with heated seats, Bluetooth radio, sunroof, and my personal favorite feature of the car is the heads-up display. I brought it back home and then it became my new daily driver, which a couple months before winter starts is probably not a great idea here in Indiana, but it survived. Luckily, over the last 3 years, the snow here in Indiana hasn't been as bad as it has in the past. If there was a day that it did snow and I did have work and I obviously not able to drive this in it, I was able to use my dad's old truck. However, I did get caught in the snow one time. After dropping off my girlfriend on the way home, I was coming up to a stoplight and it was lightly sprinkling snow, but by the time I was making it home, the roads were starting to get covered. I was coming up to a stoplight and I could just feel the rear end as I'm trying to stop, just sliding back and forth. But luckily that was the one and only time, and everything else has been fine. One of the first modifications I installed was a K&N cold air intake. Looking back, I probably would have just saved the money to get a higher quality enclosed intake. After a year of it being installed, I noticed it cracked where the mass airflow sensor goes into the intake tubing. Another downside of the K&N is it also just pulls the hot air off the top of the engine since the box isn't enclosed, it's just an exposed filter. Overall, in my opinion, you kind of get what you pay for with the K&N intake. It is made of cheaper quality materials, that's why the price point is where it's at. The next mod I installed was some LED fog light replacements from FaceTech Performance. It replaced the factory yellow color fog lights. I just wasn't really a big fan of that look. The first time something ever bad happened was in December of 2022, 4 months before my intake cracked. I was driving, I was down the street from my house, and if you know anything about Midwest roads, we have pretty bad roads, especially in the wintertime. But I'm driving and I hear this loud thud underneath the rear driver's side, and then I look down and I notice that my TPMS light's on, and I look in my mirror and I notice there's something in the road. So I reverse and I get out and I look, and it's a road reflector and it popped my tire. Luckily, I'm literally 10 seconds from my house, so I just pull in the driveway, park it, and just let the air leak out. The tires that were on it were essentially brand new Pirelli P0s that the dealership had installed when I bought the car. And if you know anything about Pirellis, they're not cheap. At the time of recording this video, a 275 40R20 tire is $350 not installed. Luckily, one of my coworkers at the time found the exact tire that I needed on Amazon for a fraction of the price. Currently, it's at $168. Back then, I think it might have been just slightly cheaper, but even then, it was a great discount and it helped me save some money. My next mod was the Flowmaster Outlaw Axleback exhaust. When I first received them, the tips had a little bit of rust on them, so I had to send them back, and when I received the new pair, thankfully they were in pristine condition. I got them installed, and it slightly woke the car up, but I could tell it still needed a little bit more. I wasn't exactly satisfied with how it sounded. 2 months later, the biggest problem I've had with this car happened. I was driving my girlfriend home one night and I noticed the car started acting funny a little bit, but I didn't think much of it. But we drive home, drop her off, she gets out and starts walking up, and then she looks back at the car kind of confused, so I roll the window down to talk to her to ask why she's looking confused, and when I roll the window down, I hear it. Which is every car guy's worst nightmare. So I make it back home and I ask my dad to come take a look at it, and we pretty much presume the worst. He called over one of his friends that built an LS3 Camaro, so he kind of had worked on the inside of the engine of these kind of cars before, so we asked for his opinion. He came over and we took the valve covers off and we inspected some things, and overall he said that he thought it was probably a lifter. We took it to a shop that was recommended by us and they had their LS guy look at it. And after he took the engine apart and took the heads off and was looking at the lifters and stuff, he noticed that there was a lifter that had some damage on the bottom of it and it was digging into the cam. And then that left me with pretty much two options. I can either replace everything stock, like how it comes from factory, or I could go for regrettably, but not at the same time, I decided to keep everything factory because I wanted to pay the car off faster. I do regret it because I'm probably going to install a cam in it in the future, but I think I made the right decision. Once it was all repaired and I got the car back and it was running good, I decided to replace that K&N intake with a cold air inductions intake, and I was way more satisfied with the quality of their product. The airbox is enclosed and made of aluminum and lined with a thermal heat barrier, and then it also has a metal thermal coated intake tube. My most recent modification, which you might have seen from the first upload on this channel, if you haven't, I'll link that video down in the description, but it was the Jags X pipe. It made the car sound even better and I can't get enough of how it sounds. Now for the current standpoint of this 100,000 mile Camaro, everything runs great with no additional mechanical issues. The paint is in pretty bad condition. I would show you guys, but you wouldn't be able to tell because it's raining out right now, but there's some pretty bad paint swirls from automatic car washes. Being a daily driver and driving it on the salty winter roads, I had no option but to run it through an automatic car wash to get the underbody washed. Thankfully now I do have the CR-V as a daily driver, so I don't have to worry about driving this in bad conditions. But otherwise the car still runs like the day I bought it. Some future plans I have for the car: I do want to do a BTR Stage 3 L99 to LS3 conversion kit. I will need a stall converter. I was thinking a 2600 to 2800, but one of my friends suggested a 3200 to a 3600. If you guys have any more information, let me know down in the comments. I'm open to suggestions. I also do have the wheels that I want, and those will probably be the next purchase I'll make. I'll make a video on that too. But overall, this is a great car. I wouldn't trade it for anything. That's been it for this video. So if you guys did enjoy, please make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on my social medias. They'll be linked down in the description. Peace.